Welcome to the Korean Melody of Chueok, when a musician loved a billionaire. Get ready for a heartfelt journey filled with love, sacrifice, and unexpected twists. If you enjoy emotional stories that touch the soul, don't forget to like and subscribe for more beautiful tales. The winter chill had settled over Seoul, painting the streets with frost and softening the usual hum of city life into something more subdued, almost magical. Jia wrapped her thin coat tightly around her fragile frame as she settled on the cracked wooden bench in the small park near Hongdae, her battered violin case at her feet. Her fingers trembled slightly, not just from the cold but from a mixture of nerves and hope. Tonight was just like any other night. She would pour her soul into her music, hoping that someone, anyone, might hear her story. Jia's life was anything but easy. Born into a modest family that never truly understood her, she had spent years struggling between the duty to conform and the burning passion that consumed her heart. Her violin was more than an instrument, it was her voice when words failed her. She closed her eyes and let the bow glide over the strings, the melody fragile but haunting, weaving through the night air like a whispered secret. People passed by, some throwing a few coins into her open case, others too busy with their own lives to notice. But Jia didn't play for the money. She played to breathe. To survive. To remind herself that she was still alive, still fighting. Hyunwoo had spent the entire day locked in boardrooms, trapped under the suffocating weight of corporate meetings and family expectations. The heir to a sprawling conglomerate, he had been groomed for success since birth, expected to marry a woman chosen by his family, take over the family business, and maintain their legacy. But success tasted hollow, and the glittering world he inhabited felt like a prison. Drawn by an inexplicable urge to escape, Hyunwoo wandered through the quiet streets, the cold air crisp against his skin. As he rounded a corner, the soft, melancholic strains of a violin caught his attention. He followed the sound until he found her, a girl with eyes closed in concentration, lost in the music that seemed to pour from her soul. He stood silently, mesmerized. The music was unlike anything he had heard in his world of perfection and pretense. It was raw, imperfect, and deeply human. When the final note faded, Jia opened her eyes and saw him for the first time, a man in an expensive coat, standing awkwardly but with genuine awe. "Your music," he said softly, "it's like you're telling a story no one else can hear." Jia blinked, unsure how to respond. "It's just what I feel," she said quietly, her voice trembling as much as her hands. They talked for hours beneath the dim streetlights, two strangers from opposite worlds, connected by a fragile thread of understanding. Hyunwoo found himself wanting to know everything about her, while Jia felt a stirring hope she hadn't dared to dream of. Neither knew then how much that single encounter would change their lives forever. The morning after meeting Jia, Hyunwoo returned to the marble halls of his family's estate with a restless heart. His father, Chairman Lee, was a man whose word was law, a man who had crafted their empire with unyielding discipline and ruthless ambition. The board had already arranged Hyunwoo's marriage to the daughter of a powerful politician, a union designed to secure alliances, expand influence, and preserve the family legacy. "Your duty is clear," his father had told him coldly. "Love is a luxury you cannot afford." Hyunwoo nodded outwardly but inside, rebellion simmered. Jia's music haunted his thoughts, a reminder that there was more to life than contracts and expectations. Meanwhile, Jia faced her own battles. Her parents, worn down by years of hardship, pleaded with her to abandon her music and find stability. "You need to think about your future," her mother said, worry etched in every line of her face. "Music won't keep you safe." But Jia's heart would not listen. Each note she played was a declaration of her soul's freedom, even as her body betrayed her with growing weakness and exhaustion. When Hyunwoo invited Jia to perform at a charity gala, she hesitated. She was painfully aware of the gulf between their worlds, his polished, high-society life and her own struggles on cold streets. But Hyunwoo's genuine admiration gave her courage to step beyond the boundaries set by both their families. Their relationship blossomed in quiet moments, soft dinners where music was the language between them, walks beneath the neon glow of Seoul's night sky, whispered dreams shared in stolen embraces. Yet the weight of family expectations pressed heavily on their love. Hyunwoo's father summoned him repeatedly, reminding him of the political marriage awaiting. Jia's parents threatened to cut ties if she continued down this precarious path. Their love was a delicate melody, beautiful but constantly threatened by the harsh cords of obligation and tradition. Unbeknownst to Hyunwoo, Jia carried a secret burden far heavier than the divide between their social worlds. Years ago, she had been diagnosed with a progressive heart condition, a silent enemy that sapped her strength and shadowed her every step. The doctors had warned her to avoid stress, to rest, to protect herself. But Jia refused to let her illness dictate her life. She hid the fatigue and pain behind a brave smile, masking the moments when her breath caught or her vision blurred. She didn't want Hyunwoo, or anyone else, to see her as weak or broken. Her love for music was a lifeline. Every song she played was a defiant act against the limitations of her body. Every note was a promise she made to herself and to Hyunwoo. As their love grew, so did the strain. There were nights Jia collapsed alone in her small apartment, clutching her chest, tears mixing with the dust motes in the cold air. She longed to tell Hyunwoo the truth, but fear and pride held her tongue. She worried her illness would ruin everything between them. She feared becoming a burden to the man who had given her hope. So, she chose silence, a sacrifice that weighed heavily on her heart, as her own heart fought to keep beating for the music, for love, for life. Hyunwoo tried to break through the walls Jia built around herself, sensing the pain she hid but unsure how to help. He surprised her with quiet gestures, a picnic beneath cherry blossoms in full bloom, a mountain retreat far from the noise of the city, nights spent wrapped in music and soft laughter. Their love was a melody that deepened with every passing day, but beneath the surface, tension simmered. Jia's health faltered, and with it, her ability to be present. She missed calls, withdrew into herself, sometimes pushing Hyunwoo away to shield him from her struggles. Hyunwoo felt torn between loyalty to his family and devotion to Jia. His father's warnings became sharper, the threat of an arranged marriage looming large. Arguments erupted, born of fear, frustration, and helplessness. Words cut like shards of glass, leaving wounds deeper than either wanted to admit. Yet, after every storm, they found their way back to each other, fragile but unbroken. Their shared music became a refuge, a language beyond words where they could pour out their fears and hopes. In their love, they found both solace and struggle, a dance of harmony and discord that mirrored the complexities of their lives. Then, without warning, Jia disappeared. Hyunwoo searched frantically, hospitals, music venues, the quiet corners of Seoul, but she was nowhere to be found. The only trace she left was a haunting melody titled Chueok, meaning memory, recorded on his phone. Despair weighed heavily on his heart until, weeks later, he discovered a small music school tucked away in a remote mountain village, a place Jia had once mentioned as a childhood refuge. There, amid the soft rustling of pine trees and gentle mountain winds, he heard it, the faint, trembling notes of a violin. Inside a modest room, he found Jia, pale and fragile but alive. She confessed her truth, her illness had worsened, and she had fled to spare him the pain of watching her fade. She feared their love would be crushed beneath the weight of her suffering and family disapproval. Tears blurred Hyunwoo's vision as he took her trembling hand. "None of it matters without you," he whispered, voice thick with emotion. Together, they played Chueok, their music weaving a story of love, sacrifice, and hope that transcended time. Jia's future was uncertain, but in that moment, their hearts beat as one, a melody eternal, echoing far beyond illness, beyond sorrow, beyond time itself. Thank you for joining this emotional journey of love and sacrifice. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe to stay connected with more unforgettable stories like this. Your support means the world.